Tier 2 alphas. Yes, we all need tier 2 alphas. If you're just starting off in the game and looking at these lovely 5 stars and you want to get them ranked up, then tier 2 alphas is what you need. And for those that are endgame players or those that kind of go, yes, I can get them very easily, but at the same time, I need more of them, this is a grind guide for you in the grind guide for tier 2 alphas of 2020. Now, there are quite a few places that are available too. Look out for very special events or very special calendars. And as well, if you progress on further, you can definitely find yourself picking up tier 2 alphas from things like calendars and also special calendars. Now, dropping in Christmas time, there's usually a really spicy festive calendar, which usually has a good amount of tier 2 alpha to pick up. And special events on a monthly basis could see you picking up a good amount. And giving a good example, in this particular month, the Squirrel Store is on, which does give an opportunity to get a certain amount of tier 2 alpha. Do bear in mind, you have to be a certain type of titleage, which obviously uncollected is the name of the game, and that's something you should work for. Also, look out for the Black ISO market. If you do have the Summoner Sigil, you'll be able to trade up some tier 1 alpha in order to get some tier 2 alpha, which does give a lot more than if you were just to sell your tier 1 alpha by yourself without any kind of Summoner Sigil. And by the completion and 100% exploring of certain story quests, you're able to pick up a good amount of tier 2 alpha, as you can see here. And something as well to point out is if you do Act 6, a lot of the tier 2 alpha is actually on the paths and the lanes that you'll see when you complete stuff. By doing the likes of Abyss of Legends and the Labyrinth of Legends, you'll be able to pick up a significant amount of tier 2 alpha, but that is all down to your own ability and also some specific types of champions. And at the point of recording this video, at the moment, the 4 Horsemen, including the likes of Aegon, is a really decent option. But there are a few that are coming through that people will go, hey, use this champion in this one because it's going to be like good for this path, or maybe it's going to be good for the completion, 100%ing, etc, etc. So do look out for guides around the community that will help out towards that. But it's not the best thing, especially when you're starting off. On a monthly basis, it's always good, especially where you are in the game, to try and do master, especially with the exploration. And more so when it comes to something like uncollected. As you can see here, a good amount of the fragments are on offer. Something to bear in mind is when you're starting off the game, you're kind of like, I want tier 2 alpha fragments now, I'm not getting them, is you have to be patient. You have to focus on your future, and your future in-game will be leading to a point where you do map 6. And map 6, with the map 6 crystals, are helpful to get tier 2 alpha, and obviously map 7 of course, but as well the Conqueror rewards, your honor rewards, things like that do mean for getting those tier 2 alpha fragments a lot more quicklier, and then therefore kind of getting those fully formed ones later down the line. So with MCOC, you've got to be in it for the long haul. You've got to be in there, or at least have a target in your mind that you want to achieve X, Y, and Z by a certain point. So you want to be uncollected. That's good. That means you get tier 2 alpha. If you're Cavalier, that's even better. When as soon as you get Cavalier, it seems a lot more easier from calendars and other areas to actually pick up stuff. And you're probably running map 6, or at least getting a decent finish when it comes to Alliance quest for your 5-day sequence. Now, as you can see with the Glory Store, there are significant improvements, especially from last year when we did a video like this, and especially with the tier 2 alpha. So it may be a case you want to sink your glory into buying tier 2 alpha fragments, which as you can see is 1,800. And I can imagine as the future progresses and maybe next year, you'll get a larger chunk for the glory that you spend. One thing to bear in mind is that if you want to get your tier 2 alpha as quickly as possible, it is advisable to join an alliance that maybe has a vision to get themselves up to higher types of ranks and based on their rating in Alliance War seasons. And as you can see, some of the top ones get some nice fully formed tier 2 alpha, and obviously the further up you go, you don't. But yeah, shoot for Platinum 3, Platinum 4, Gold 1, you're still getting a good amount of tier 2 alpha. Now, even though there's nothing on at the time at the point of recording this video, there probably will be objectives, and sometimes those objectives has tier 2 alpha, and especially when you're starting off in the game, it is a good opportunity to take advantage and do those objectives. But look out for very special objectives from time to time, and obviously do the grind. If you don't, then you probably kick yourself saying, I could have done more. And finally, it is my hope that Kabam see this and look to put in something at a later date called Catalyst Clash Alpha, where you can get a good chunk of tier 1 alphas and as well get tier 2 alphas with an increased milestone. That is something that I really hope for, so we'll see what happens by this time next year. But what are my key things to mention when it comes to grinding out tier 2 alpha? So if you're an endgame player that is not Cavalier, look towards getting to the Cavalier status because things become a lot easier to get that fully form one once a month from the calendar. If you are someone that is uncollected and looking to really get a lot more, it's important to focus on making sure you log in, also making sure you do 100% your uncollected difficulty each and every month, and as well maybe doing masters still. For those that aren't uncollected, try and do master each month and push your ability to do the story mode and get uncollected. That's very important. Also, it's very important for everyone involved to actually grind out events. Monthly events, special events, they're going to be incredibly important for you to pick up a lot of tier 2 alpha and make sure objectives are smashed out. That goes for everybody, and there should be no excuses for grinding this out each month because it could be the most easiest process. Also, look out for stuff like alliance questing. Alliance questing and alliance wars are very important, and getting into a competitive alliance is going to be very tricky. So do make sure that your ability is there, your skill set improves as you go to the more kind of demanding alliances, or maybe alliances that are in more competitive areas. That same sentiment obviously goes hand in hand with the glory store. The more difficult content you do in alliances, the more that you're going to get glory wise from the alliance quest, and then obviously the more you're going to be able to spend. I myself don't spend too much, and I wait until the renewal of this particular glory store. So to give you an idea, you know, at the end of the last sequence, I got about 4,000 to 5,000 glory. I then spent half of that on stuff in here, but I didn't overspend. I waited for the start of the new sequence to then buy again, because essentially I would be overspending for stuff that, well, as you can see down here, that would be pretty silly. So I like to then swap around when the new stuff comes back in. In any case, that has been my video all about tier 2 alphas. Do you have a different method? If you do, to grinding them out and how you play out, whether or not you're a casual person and don't really look to kind of do some of the areas that we talked about, then put it in the comments section. It can be helpful to a fellow summoner that may go, do you know what, this method isn't the way that I would normally do it. Now, thank you very much for watching this video. Check out some other content up here, which will probably be latest, and as well some guides from my new player guide playlist. Also check out the support links here to support the channel, and as well far left hand corner for the RTM2 channel, which is where I do a lot of the live stream with MCOC and other games. Bye bye for now.